ballsweapon.com. This is just part 2 of that last video with the Oregon State Hospital conspiracy. Now, I left off with Martine Turner was on top of me. The little fucking tard bitch staff. The way it went down, too, is really crazy. I'm just out in the hallway, and it was like one of those everyday situations where he's an abusive dirtball, and I just asked him, he's the staff standing there, hey, he might have even been the staff in charge. And I had ordered a pizza. I'm allowed to order a pizza. I got the privileges to do that. Everyone there does, in fact. They don't deny you. It's like dinner out night or something. So I got my pizza. He says, nope, you can't have it. You're not getting it. And I said, okay, well, what's the deal behind that? And are you going to pay me my money back? Because you're the one denying me my pizza that I paid for. And he goes, nope. And I'm like, come on, well, I mean, what's the deal with this? And then he runs and jumps on me. He gets all, like he couldn't handle the pressure of being questioned. He starts punching me in the face. Knocks me down the ground, tackling me. He fucking like, ready to jump, boom, he's beating me. I fly like 10 feet. My glasses go boom, because he punching me in the face. All these staff witness it. All these patients witness it. The staff would later say, man, Martine Turner just takes things way too personally. Oops, I think there's going to be another investigation. When I pulled up off of that, he stayed on top of me the whole time. Fucking coughing up blood and stuff. Just so much blood. All the patients were watching. They brought in staff. They cleaned up the blood. Marcy was the one who said she personally pulled out the goddamn mop bucket and everything for all the blood. But guess what? Nobody would get in trouble. They would cover it up like I had self-inflicted my own injuries or had never been hurt at all. Well, let me tell you, they go and they put me in the restraints after this. They don't even look at me as a victim. And then the doctor comes in and said, this is another doctor from wherever she came from. She comes off the unit and goes, you do it to yourself. But what did I do to myself? See, what did I do? That's the thing. These people are just abusive little fucking retards in this place. The following couple of days, you know, I get released. They clean up all the blood off my face. I get out of restraints. I call the police. I call Office Investigation Training, say I'd just been assaulted and abused by the staff. The staff had refused to make the report themselves. That's serious. It's by law and by their own policy they have to. It's the same stuff every time. The previous episodes, you know, he taken a patient and was fist fighting him right there in front of everybody. He got hurt. Another time he just took a door and slammed it on a patient's back. Or another time afterwards he took another patient. I think actually there was maybe 2 incidents more. The other one was Robbie Mitchell was the other patient. He grabbed Robbie Mitchell, he took him and swung around, busted his back right into the corner of this sharp fucking like case that was for displaying projects, various types of art was inside there. If you build a model car, it might go inside there. It's right there in the unit to display everything. And it's a sharp corner, dude. For no reason, Robbie Mitchell actually, it started off where he went from one room to the next to try to get away with Martine Turner. Martine Turner kept coming up to him going, hey, come on, man, you can't, you know, he's like hassling him, you know, are you going to be okay or whatever, Martine. And Robbie's clearly being targeted by Mitchell, or by, Robbie Mitchell was clearly being targeted by Martine Turner here. Robbie Mitchell came into the room with me on the final to get away from Martine. And I don't really know how it started, but it probably started with some hassling, usually. So the patient comes in, And he's like, yeah, I'm okay. I don't need... And he just stands there. He keeps heckling them. And then he says, yeah, I'm fine, okay? And he stands up in his chair. He's right there. He's like 10 feet from Martine. Martine Turner thinks it's necessary from that point to then go in. There's nothing done. Robbie's perfectly fine. He grabs Robbie Mitchell, fucking swinging around. Boom. Back. Boom. Just right into the case. Robbie Mitchell's on the ground screaming, Martine is clearly trying to hurt him there on the ground still. Robbie just, he's not even fighting back. He's just like, he just got assaulted bad by this fucking retard. And a nurse comes in who's a violent ass nurse himself. He's a male RN. He's supposed to be watching this retard staff member. He was there kind of in the corner watching this. He decides to help Martine frame the patient. Every fucking time he goes, well, if we let you up, don't do it again, okay? And I was like, what? What did he do? I was sitting here watching the whole thing. Nothing was done. But they did that to make Robbie feel like he had done something wrong. It's all a bunch of games. Psychological games. So, I mean, I told Robbie how to report that, and I was there. I witnessed the whole fucking thing. Now, back then I didn't know if we could report abuse of other patients, so I don't know if I reported it myself or left it to him. With my case, though, what they did was, now, a nurse practitioner comes out and looks at my nose. This has nothing to do with the injury, but she finds that I have injury in my nose, trauma, obvious trauma, and that there was injury. My nose was swollen good, and there was injury. Well, she documents that for me. I saw her write it down. Now, they please finally respond to my phone calls. But here's what they do. They're trying to frame me for the Bonnie Tucker stuff. So they come out first, and they have a grievance that someone wrote about me. See, they're trying to frame me. They have all the intelligence all right there. Like, they've been sitting there spying on me. And they have fucking, like, complaints about me. They've been collecting it to try to frame me. They're protecting the state, you know. Where Bonnie Tucker, there's video of showing her do all this stuff and witnesses they never get to talk to. They come in and they harass me during my first interview. Oh, you gotta try to contact you again? Like I'm a stalker. See, their whole cover story was that I was a stalker, and they're trying to frame me to look like a sexual predator, see, to cover it all up. They're going to have a tape, because there's a tape recorder in the room with us. It was recorded, and he just abused the fuck out of me. He had no interest in discovering crime. His interest was clearly in intimidating me and refusing to do anything. And they did that same tactic every time they ever saw me. They never cared about what was going on. They had no interest in information or investigating anything at the state hospital. What you were saying to them was like a threat. They wanted you dead. They were part of the conspiracy. And my psychologist calls this, she said that this, oh, well, that sounds like police corruption. Absolutely, 100%. They didn't give two flying fucks about anything any staff member did in that place. But they're supposed to. There's all these laws in the books. Their job is to prosecute the staff the same as any patient or anyone out in the streets. So, these guys, they're clearly prejudiced and biased against all the patients. It's really funny, man. Enough to put you in danger even more, because then you got no support system, no protection systems at all. So, the state police come out, though. They have that grievance. They interview my friend first. Oh, we have an accusation Todd sexually harassed you and wanted to have sex with you. And Eugene Jablonski, the unit director, and some staff on 50G, they're the ones that put that in. Possibly some staff down where I was at now, 50D. Because they have like a whole playbook. They put it all together. They're trying to frame me. Dustin is the kid's name. His name's Dustin Walker. Goes, well, no, none of that was actually true. And I made that all up. He made it all up. Who coerced him to make it all up? Well, anyway, he came and he told me that. That's why I know. He came and he told me I wouldn't even have known that he was pulled down there. And I don't even know what he made up, but it was something about a specific incident, you know. Some staff told him to write the grievance, is what I heard. So, what the hell? What the fuck is that shit? And I'm serious. I'm fucking serious. There was a staff, I forgot to say, on 4050G. When I got there, he was a 48B staff named Dwayne. Dwayne had saw how slutty Bonita was. He was protecting her. And so when I moved over to 50G and my release is on path, he was there to sabotage it. They assigned him as my case manager. He calling sick every day. He's an asshole. He comes in the room, thinks he's gotta like sabotage everything and like make sure I stay at the hospital. No, I mean, that's the type of mentality the weird staff there have. That's what they do. They're not legit people. They're not legit anything. They're not the type of support person that's there to get you through your day and then get you out of there so you're back to life. That's for sure. Like, these guys are crazy people that sabotage people. That's what they do. But not each other. It's all the patients. Well, then the state police, they finally talked to me. Okay, I had to talk to my friend. And when they're talking to me, you know, I tell them everything. I got broken glasses, probably. I have my busted up, swollen nose. Everything that he did. And the staff. That's an assault, okay? That's a harassment. That's him. He was intimidating me and everyone on the unit, really. And he had a history of crap. The state police go, oh, well, I guess they were cooking the books, so they were already there to cook the books. So they go, oh, well, we're going to have a doctor look at you. So they have one of the state hospital doctors who's one of their doctors. This isn't a regular doctor. She's their go-to girl for covering everything up. It's actually an infrastructure in this bitch. Okay, I'm serious. Every fucking doctor's in on it. So, Dr. Brooks is the one called in. Now remember, I already had this looked at, luckily, by another... I mean, there's blood. There's nurse practitioner's diagnosis. Alright. Well, she had Dr. Brooks says... She's just I swear, these doctors are dangerous because they'll look at something and they'll cover it up. So they looked at my nose, putting in nostril things, the little fucking stethoscope, whatever, the light. Oh, that's not, you haven't been hurt. There's no injury here, no sign of injury. This is just days after, maybe 1 or 2 days after the nurse practitioner. 1 or maybe 4 or 5 days after the injury. Actually, it's a sinus infection, she says. And she even prescribed me a sinus infection drug. But I had no sinus infection at all. No sinus infection. No congestion. No complaint. I didn't even complain about that. So and there was there's nothing like that there. I was breathing perfectly normal and everything. No pain besides the swollen tenderness. And where she reported that to the state police to cook the books. Suddenly there's no assault. See, that's the state hospital infrastructure. They even will cover up how you get a broken bone. They'll say that you broke your own bone and that a staff member didn't do it. So a staff member might be squeezing on your arm deliberately. You can feel him there. He's being vicious. He breaks your thumb all of a sudden. And then later on, the staff, they're trying to cover that up, how to explain it. The doctor's there to help him. Oh, well, maybe he took his hand and swung it into a thing. And there's security video the whole time where they did it. They did that to me. Every fucking patient, they do that to. And the patient doesn't even get to see the chart records. And they don't... There's plenty of patients that talk about this type of stuff. But, I mean... Patients are upset why they report something and nothing gets done ever. Well, this is why. It's going on like this every time. They get assaulted, they report something, they get beat up, they report something. But there's no action or consequence ever. They're expecting there to be something, anything, not just for things to stay the same and nothing. They'll be going a month later, they're like, dude, I was just brutally victimized a month ago and nothing's happened. I'm still right here in the same unit, or, you know, the staff is still working there like nothing has happened. It's their protection network, dude. Union members probably involved with that too. They'll bring them in. They come up with elaborate fucking ways of cooking the books. Either just framing it, lying in the record, medical records, or if it gets to the point where someone outside checks in, like OIT, well, they never do an investigation really, but they'll go to the union rep there and they'll have a chat with the staff, and boom, not substantiated, and just cover it all up. And that's what happens most of the time. Even if you got witnesses and stuff like that, and so you're just sitting there. See, that's not the proper procedure at all. When you have an assault, an accusation, even, that's every time. Look at every time. Have you ever watched Cops, man? You call the cops up, they're out right then and there, and they're talking to everybody. And if anyone got assaulted, or even could have been assaulted, someone's in handcuffs being walked out of the facility to a jail. See, that's what they don't have at the state hospital. And that's why nothing's being done. Because the true assault is allowed to happen, and a month later the staff is still like, oh, come on, protection benefits. But if you notice how the community, that doesn't happen, and you have a violent dipshit staff, and they're violent, they're plotting, they're intelligent, they're conspiratorial. You'll see a group on the security video, if you ever watch that, you'll see a group of men who love to run to a patient's room and then go in and bust him up. There's nothing in there. They go there to do it. It's their favoriteest thing to do. It's like they're a bunch of yuppies. They're like high school kids. They love to race each other. See who can run down the hall the fastest to get to wherever they're going. It's fucking funny. Just to go and assault and bust up a patient. Or to... God damn, it's sick ass shit. They'll flipping patients off. That goes on more than you know. Because they know. They're so angry. They hate the patients. Patient says anything, they're fucking sitting there. Staff member will be behind the bubble, sit there flipping the patient off next time they walk by. When they finally get out of the restraint bed or whatever. And there'll be accusation. Well, the staff had to cook the books to put them in there. Like, oh, he made a threatening remark. And then the patient has no idea why they're in there. And he says, oh, I didn't say nothing like that. What the fuck? Because they're lying. They lie in every fucking chart, though. It's fucking funny. And so at the state hospital, I get whooped up. State police covered it up. OIT says, oh, we're not investigating. See, they covered it all up. Then fucking Dr. Sketch comes in Todd, you burned bridges. We're going to medicate you. Put me on Seroquel. Gave me neuroleptic Mondrian syndrome. My head, I couldn't even move my head. I'm sitting there. I'm losing hair. I'm sweating in my bed. I'm put out. My fucking, I was showering and I'm sweating. I had all the symptoms of neuroleptic Mondrian syndrome. Heart rate issues all of a sudden. Tachycardia. Odd heart rate. Blood pressure, which that's like when you sit down and have the cup put on. Soared. Never had high blood pressure. Never had any blood pressure problems. And then they tried to cover up all the symptoms of neuroleptic Mondrian syndrome with propranolol and other side effect drugs and heart pressure meds. Because they didn't care. They were trying to kill me. This is like what Chris Crawford went through. And Moises Perez, they're just covering everything up, using meds like psychotropic weapons. And so I'm sitting there dying. I couldn't hardly write or talk or do nothing. Couldn't read. Couldn't get out of bed. And I had the right to refuse drugs, but the staff would threaten me. They said, if you don't take this drug, we're going to take away all your privileges. I told Glenn LaFollette, the Oregon Advocacy Center, this stuff, and he never really did shit. He's just a fucking punk. He talked to Dr. Frickle, the superintendent, like I said before. Dr. Frickle goes, oh, well, he was assaulted and stuff like this and stuff with Barney Tucker. Marvin Fickle goes, well, he's the boy who cried wolf. This is the superintendent. He's just a punk fucker. Well, guess what? 2 months go by. February 2007. And if I'm such a boy who cried wolf, then why was Bonnie Tucker just exposed, helping her patient boyfriend escape? Why had John Eastman, another patient, been getting marijuana smuggled in? Why was that all caught? And why didn't Bonnie Tucker get charges for it? And there was bolt cutters. There's an RN paid $1,000 to help. There was also different security members helping. How do you know that? Because the packages, they got to the hospital with no patient name. They'd have a patient alias. But the thing about the the hospital infrastructure, it's a big old hospital like a prison. They have security procedures in place. It must have your patient name or patient ID usually on the box. Right there it says, to this patient. And that's how they know where to send it to. If it doesn't have a patient name, then it's like, this person doesn't exist at this address. They do return to sender. See that? So it said Spider-Man on the box. So who's Spider-Man to the staff who are running a fucking goddamn state hospital? They type that in. Does it have a patient name? No. Because it says fucking Gino Puglisi in the computer. And his patient ID and his fucking ward and his other bullshit. That's it. So how did they fucking route this package? Well, because there was corrupt shit. And they're all working together. All security, all the fucking people can get this contraband to him. This might have been set up. They might have been doing other stuff. This is something serious. So in the contraband package, they have hacksaw blades. They have bolt cutters. They have other crap. They have a gift package for one of the RN nurses. And and $1,000 gift card or something like that. Plus a gift package and bullshit. So they take it over to where he's at, 50G probably. That's from what I remember. And give it to the nurse actually has the package there, and then the nurse lies and says she doesn't get this gift package, but she does. She lies in the police records. Gino says she got it. And he goes and he gets the package specially, and fucking the nurse doesn't even look into what's there. What's in the box. Just gives it to him. He takes out his contraband, his escape tools and shit, his weapons. Well, that was an awesome operation there. So they go down to the fence with their bolt cutters, the 50 building gym. That's where they play volleyball. Other crap that they do. Usually volleyball, sometimes basketball. And ask for the door to be open for some air. And the door, it's got a fence around the whole thing, so they don't really care about that when it's open. It's secure. It's called the secure perimeter. So they cut through the fence right there. Gino and David Anderson. David Anderson is the boyfriend of Bonnie Tucker, the woman who abused me. David gets left behind. He trips, whatever. Gino gets to the getaway car that's driven by an ex-staff member right there outside the fucking area. Right there, waiting outside the building of the hospital. Okay. Yeah, well, anyway, what you're seeing is that these are just people who are low-life sacks of shit who work at this place. Either work there, could be hired their ex-staff member, fucking nurse RN, nurse all over the hospital working for these guys. Bonnie Tucker, she's over in 40B, they're on 50G. They got staff there, they got security members. I mean, they got this wherever they want it. That's the thing. So, I once used to see Bonnie Tucker come on 50G when she had no reason to be there. She wasn't working there. She would come from 48B where her usual unit was, and she would just walk onto the unit like she was coming for no reason. Why would she be doing that? Especially when she knows she abused me, and she's there maybe to chat with staff like they're still friends with her and everything, and they're protecting her maybe. The other thing would be that she'd be there to drop contraband off around the hospital. She's walking around the hospital freely to do that. She'd be there to, with David Anderson, whoever would be somewhere in the hospital, or any of her other crew people. Because she's a drug smuggler. Okay? At this point, she's a drug dealer. She's breaking into the drugs and dealing them with patients. Selling them. Making money. Whatever. She didn't get in trouble for being a drug dealer. She has a very crazy lifestyle outside the hospital of going to strip clubs and smoking weed and not being anyone who even has training to work with people in a hospital setting, really. So fucking funny. Every staff there is like that. In fact, the hospital, it's more about job security. They go there to work. There's like a word out in the streets. If you want to be a deadbeat motherfucker and make more money than anywhere else, come to the state hospital. So it attracts a lot of pieces of shit who simply go for the job, for the benefits, for the pension, for the union and shit. And they have the whole place locked down and controlled. Politically, they get everything they want. They get laws written for them. Their union is very powerful. They get pay raises. They sit there and negotiate everything down to a T about how it works. Their staff there, they don't have any of the pathetic restrictions that the public sector has on there's like sick pay and vacation. They have, some of them have told me, like 2,000 days of paid vacation saved up. That's fucking sick how much they're getting. 2,000, 3,000. It just keeps growing and growing. Because they get basically some of the best working conditions. Everyone there loves to work doubles, so they're working 2 times a day. So that means, and they get time and a half and stuff, and they work the second shift, and it's the perk of that place. And then what they do with that is they either could take their pay, or they convert that to to like a day off or vacation. And different crap that they do, or a sick day or whatever. So people, you're there racking it up. You're racking in the benefits and the money. And then the thing about getting fired, it's like you've heard about this at other unions, right? Where you have a really bad teacher, can't fire him though. Right? So that's what you got this place. Really bad staff, but you can't fire them. Some nurses were telling me that they had previously worked at regular hospitals before that weren't state hospitals, and they were telling me that at the regular hospital they'd never seen anything like this before. They were under management who would punish them if they did something wrong. So they were kept in check, that they would say. If someone else did something wrong, they would be kept in check. If they were to see something and go report it, that person might get in trouble for it. They would probably get in trouble, the one that was doing something wrong. But not the state hospital. It was almost as if the union was in control, and none of the managers would ever do anything against any of the union members. So that would allow them to do whatever they wanted. In fact, if a manager spoke out, they would be getting fired. That's the way it works. So that's what it's like at the state hospital. So you could beat a patient up, you could be providing really bad health care, you could do whatever you wanted in this place. It was unrestricted, unregulated, do whatever you wanted to do. Just as long as you were there for everyone else in the union. And there's concern that would lead to them even being able to murder someone. Okay, and that there's a violence thing, that there's retaliation that goes on. For example, what happens when the mayor of Salem, she did this in 2008, she said, wait a minute, we should move this hospital somewhere else. Let's not have it in Salem. Salem, there's too many prisons here. Why can't we put some of these prisons and hospitals in other cities? The union came out and lashed out at her bitch ass in the media, calling her incompetent and retarded. But they did so with like a fucking story. They wanted to keep her in check. And when you read this, God, it was crazy. You just read this in the newspaper. That the story was so well written, as if to make you, the reader, think that she was crazy. And you should not listen to her. And that she should not be the next mayor. They had the power to put articles in the newspaper. They just go to the newspaper and get one ran. That's how it goes.